I'm here to dance with out-of-towners, but if you tap on my shoulder, I'll give you one. I'll give you one for the whole marathon.
Now, here's my problem with this. Because we know so many people, especially in our local community, if you pick one,
Yeah,
then,
pick them all.
Yeah, what about all the other people?
Like, let's just say I dance with a whole bunch of people who are out-of-towners, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't get one lick of people going, "Oh, Rob's so unfriendly." You know? And then you dance with a whole bunch of out-of-towners, and and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Derek's such an elitist." You know? So.
Did you ever notice that at the marathon recently, most LA people prefer to dance with people that are not from LA? Like when you see other people on a marathon, typically like New Yorkers, they'll dance at least a couple of tandas with fellow New Yorkers, or San Francisco people will dance some tandas with San Francisco people, or Portland people will dance with Portland people. But I think in LA we've created some pact. Like when we travel, we just want to dance with anybody else that's not from LA. And I think we're the only city that has this pact.
You know, I'm gonna say something terrible, and actually I would say I don't think it's LA, buddy. I think it's us.
It's us? No, it's LA. It's
Really?
for sure LA.
Really? Because
Yeah.
because I see a lot. Still, I still see LA people dance with other LA people. It's mostly, I think it's like people like you and me that really make an effort to. For me, I think I'm trying to overcompensate for LA's reputation of being unfriendly. And it's like, well, I gotta show all these out-of-towners that LA's nice, you know. So maybe I'm overcompensating, and maybe it's giving LA that reputation.
When I started Tango, I remember one of the dancers that was more experienced, way more experienced than me at the time. I remember I went to my first, I forget if it was a festival or a marathon, but I invited her to dance, and she's like, "No, we're at a festival. We don't dance with each other." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize." And I guess that maybe that brainwashed me into thinking that when I travel, everyone else has a priority, and because I'm going to see them again. And I talked to some of the people from LA, and they're just like, "Yeah, why dance with each other? We're going to see each other at the local milongas. This is the chance. We're traveling. We have all these out-of-town people. Why dance with each other?"
Yep, I agree.
What's the point of going to a festival? We could just stay at home.
Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing. So I have a weird soft spot for certain people, and what I mean is there are some LA people I'll dance with them once, once for the whole marathon or something like that, because I see that maybe like they're not dancing that much. I want to get them started because once they're on the floor, then they can take care of themselves, you know?
Yeah, that's like an important point, right? It's like sometimes, especially I think as followers, you need to, like, they feel like sometimes it just needs the ball. You need to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. So I'll do that with certain people, but my problem is I have a bad estimate on who needs my help.
What?
No, because like I might see someone and I might go, "Oh, she's super accomplished. Like she's no problem. She doesn't need my help." You know?
Oh, so you overlook those people that are accomplished because you think they're gonna get dances anyways, but they don't end up getting dances, and you didn't get the ball rolling for them.
Yeah, because I was just thinking like, come on, they're so good. Like why? Like they don't need my help, right? Where someone else, I might just go, "Oh, well, you know, they're my pals. Like I know this is kind of outside of their wheelhouse. They might need a little help. So yeah, but." There's some people I see that I think they're very, very accomplished. Like I think of them as very popular, and then I realize that they have a bad time, and I'm like, darn, you know, yeah. And part of me feels guilty about it, but the other part of me is kind of doesn't feel guilty about it because I'm like, but you're so accomplished, you can do this yourself, you know. So I'm a flip-flopper on this one.
I can see your point. It's because at what point, like, how do you get yourself out there? And I guess we've talked about this, but I think that's a really tough one because I think the warm up is important. Yeah. I think when you dance with somebody, it's kind of like you're showing them off to the other strangers that don't know them.
Yeah.
And so without that, like how do you get shown off?
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe I need to change my pact. Maybe I should be more like, hey, I'm here to dance with out-of-towners, but if you tap on my shoulder, I'll give you one. I'll give you one for the whole marathon.
Now here's my problem with this. Because we know so many people, especially in our local community, if you pick one,
Yeah,
then,
pick them all.
Yeah, what about all the other people?
Well,
They're
here-
gonna be like, well, I saw you dancing with so and so. How come you?
Well-
That's like that's a very hard card to play.
It's not hard for me because I'm not as popular as you.
What?
So,
No, you
like,
are.
No.
You know everybody I know. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I'm not as desirable. So,
So, but I mean, people would get offended because
yeah.
they saw you dancing with another local dancer, and then how come you didn't choose them?
Yeah, no, I'm joking about that. I totally get it. And then sometimes I'll go, and then sometimes there's a whole like, oh, did you really pity that person? Like sometimes then it comes off that one that I gave to somebody. They're like, oh, that was your charity. Do you think I'm a charity case?
Oh my God.
So there's
You
the
just
flip
can't
side of
win.
that too.
You can't win.
You can't win.
You can't win.
So I just grip. Hey, we all know what it is. Just I'm gonna lose anyway, so might as well just bite the bullet. I mean, I've come to the fact that I can't make anybody happy. So it's just what's written in the stars, and if the stars align, the stars align, and like I do what I can, but I already know people aren't gonna be happy. I just live with it.
Maybe some other cities they do a thing where on the first night they kind of just dance with all their friends and local people, and then they move on from there.
Yeah, I've seen that because it's kind of funny because sometimes there's this joke that I have amongst some of my friends that there's these people who travel and they dance with each other, but they don't dance with anyone else but like each other. So
I never understand
so
that.
it's almost like you're dancing with the same people, but in different cities.
Yeah,
So
it's just a different background.
Yeah.
You just change the background.
Yeah, well, I mean, but like, if they're really good friends, I totally get that. I mean, like with my team, for example,
Yeah.
I totally do that for my team. But
Well, I mean, especially if you're rooming with those people.
Yeah.
Like you travel somewhere and you're getting an Airbnb or a
Yeah.
hotel room.
Yeah.
That's kind of mandatory. I think that's kind of rude if you don't dance with your housemate.
yeah, no, I agree with you there. I totally agree with you. So maybe that's the thing. You know what? For LA needs to coordinate better with who they room with to make sure, that everyone gets, that first draft pick.
I think there's just a bunch of misunderstandings as well. I think some people feel like these people are so unfriendly, but in reality, maybe they don't know their story. They don't know. They're just making assumptions, and I feel like a lot of people assume pretty poorly.
I definitely agree with that. I've made some poor assumptions of people because it was just a judgment call at a time. Sometimes I just think, oh, this person doesn't want to dance with me because they're looking for somebody better, or this person just doesn't gel with me because and for me it doesn't bother me. I'll just say, hey, this person, we're not compatible. It's okay, But that's my assumption, and based on what, I have no idea, and that's what I mean. It's really easy to assume the negative.
Yeah.
And the question is, are you going to be offended by that negative assumption?
Yeah.
For me, I'm not offended by these negative assumptions because I'm just like, hey, whatever, move on. Like,
I don't know. It kind of. I don't know how you do it. It kind of hits me. I kind of think about it often.
I guess.
Like, oh, Derek, I don't know. You do the pod. Like, I don't know. Some people, maybe because they haven't seen me in the context of, like, I talk for a living, not just on this podcast, but I lecture. Like, I'm a college instructor, but many people obviously don't see me in that capacity. And so when they see me on this podcast, it's like, oh, look, Derek's just like talking. I've never heard him talk like this. And he's always quiet. Now the podcast, and he's like talking a storm.
Yeah.
It's because you don't see me in this mode. This mode is typically my work mode.
Yeah. And here's a funny thing. Like, I feel that when we travel, or I don't travel as much anymore, But I feel like we could do the same thing. You and I could do the same thing, but we have different results of how all people assume of us.
What do you mean?
Like, let's just say I dance with a whole bunch of people who are out of towners, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't get one lick of people going, "Oh, Rob's so unfriendly." You know? And then you dance with a whole bunch of out of towners, and like, you know, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Derek's such an elitist," you know. So I just think it's hilarious that sometimes we do the exact same thing, but the results are different.
Yeah, it's the perception.
So what is it about my perception versus your perception?
I guess you'd have to ask the people that have the perception. Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of different.
Because we both have teddy bear personalities. I mean, you've got the teddy bear hug, and I've just got the teddy bear belly. But so it's like, you know.
I will say I made a pretty poor assumption at this past marathon that we're at. So there was a dancer that made I'll call it the gray list. And so we went over the past videos about the blacklist, where the black book, where it's just kind of like, oh, you know, I'm not dancing with them. Like they made my black book. There's a thing that I like to call the gray list, where I went up to this person, I kabaseo them, and they were like, oh, I don't like dancing to Tatori. Can we find another tanda? And then I was like, oh, okay. And so immediately that puts that person on the gray list, meaning that it's up to them to come find me and then Murata me or invite me to dance, because I did the thing of inviting you and you said otherwise maybe later. And so now I'm not gonna come back twice. Right, so they have to find me now, and then or at least make it easier for me.
Yeah. So
be in the same vicinity.
So it's like Tango Purgatory, not Tango Hell. like you know, like you put them in Tango Hell, like they're burning. It's like no, you know, you're like go through your 9 levels of hell before you get back to me. But Purgatory is just kind of like, you know, it's kind of like you're a middle ground, like earn your penance to get out of Tango Purgatory. Is that what? That's
yeah. Kind of, don't you feel that way? If someone says like, oh, you know, I'm just resting, well, like maybe another time, shouldn't they I'll find you later? Shouldn't be that they should be the one to find you later, not you?
I see your point in that, but I guess for me, I might get emotional and angry, because I get angry really quickly. It's like boom, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm also quick to forgive, unless it's like a cardinal sin, you know.
I see.
So I might get angry, then I'm like I just kind of let it go. I'm like, yeah, whatever, because my problem is I hold grudges. And
Exactly. That's the gray list.
No, but I am trying to be better. So so I call my friends, I vent, and then everything's fine.
I
you know.
see.
So I get it out by venting to friends, by you know, because then I'll call my friends and be like, blah 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 blah, and then they're like, yeah, I know, right? And then I'm like, and then it makes me feel better. Like, hey, I just want to vent. That's it, and
so
I get it off my chest, and it's fine.
And so it washes away.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I think.
For me, it carries over. So, like that gray list, if you didn't settle it at that milonga, it carries on to the next time I see you. It's your job now to again find me and make the move. Not necessarily come up to ask me to dance, but at least be in the vicinity and like shooting. That's at least my take on it.
No, I understand that chain of thought. I think just for me that. I guess I've come to an age where I can't hold on to grudges like I used to anymore. Like I just find that just be unhealthy. So I just vent and let it go. And at the end of the day, there's so many other people. So like it's a waste of time and energy to like hold on to that. And I've come to that realization. So that's why I'm just like, hey, I just need to vent. Like, hey, Derek, you know, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, okay, I'm all done, you know. Or go, you know, that's it for me. And again, it's like at the end of the day, there are other people I can dance with. I'm out there having fun. Is this person going to live rent-free in my head for me to hold this grudge? Like, I'm trying to get rid of that. That's very natural for me because I hold on to grudges, but I'm trying to really let that go. And I've been doing a pretty good job about it so far, you know? Okay. So, yeah, no, gray list, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think also from the recent marathon that I learned is that no matter what, somebody is going to find any marathon clicky. No matter how warm you feel the environment was, no matter how you think everybody is dancing with most of the people, what I realized is that there's always going to be somebody that thinks it's clicky.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But
There's some people that came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, you guys! I used to think LA was like blah. I heard all these things, and from this event, I just found like everything to be so warm and like cuddly, and people are so cool here." But then there's some people over the weekend that I find out like, "Oh, that was the most clickiest event I've ever been to." I'm like, "Wait, what?
yeah,
How?"
I totally get that, and a lot, like to me, I think a lot of it is how they perceive things. Do you focus on the 90% of people who give you a good time? Or do you focus on the 10% of people who, I mean, there's always going to be that 10% of people who just set you in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Or just some condition. Like for example, there might be a dark corner where the cool kids hang out.
Yeah.
And you're just like, and it feels like there's this giant barrier to get there. And you're like, and let's say you do traverse that barrier, and then you get there, and it's dark, so they can't see your cabeceo anyways, and you just go, they're so clicky because they're not even acknowledging me. I'm like point blank in their face. I mean, so this happened to me. There was a dark corner, and I did traverse that obstacle, and they didn't receive my mirada, and I just went, oh well, and these are people I know, so I just thought, hey, you know what? Maybe not your song, maybe not your thing, not a big deal. And there are other people I could dance with, so I mean, I let it go. But at the same time, I do know some people are gonna have that experience, and then like they just let it brew in their stomach. They're like, "Arr," and I've been that person. So again, just trying to let it go.
Well, I think the case with this one is that in its inevitably because of the way that the invite to this kind of marathon was, people are already going to assume clickiness, right? Because it was kind of like a word of mouth thing. It wasn't broadcasted out, you would say, to the large population of things.
Yeah, no, because I know a lot of people would say, oh, I thought it was an invite. I didn't get an invitation, so I didn't think I was able to go. And I'm like, no, I mean, it wasn't like invite only. It wasn't like Marathon Z or something like that. But in a sense, it wasn't as public as it could be. So it's in that gray zone. I mean, for example, the thing isn't invite only.
No,
but
it's like you have to check his website. And,
but but I've
be ready to sign up and immediate notice.
Yeah, but I've never been to the thing.
I've never been to the thing either, but I heard it's great, and Alex Krebs is an awesome person.
Yeah, so again, it's one of those things that doesn't bother me, but I mean, if the stars align, the stars align. I think that's my 2025 thing. It's let it go.
Let it go.
And the stars have to align. And you know what? If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Not a big deal.
That's a good mentality. But yeah, let us know what you think about these. Do you have a group pact from where you're from? Like when you travel, do you have an agreement saying that, we're here after out of town and, I can see you at home? Or, do you dance with the people from your local scene wherever you are? We would like to know, because maybe what I'm thinking is that I really think it says an LA pact, because honestly, I just don't see it too often from other cities. But
or better yet, if you're having trouble, and what's the signal on like throw me a lifeline? That's what I want to know. If I see some girl and she's like scratch her ear like this, I'm like, come give me a cabeceo. I need a lifeline. I want to know what that is. That would help. That would seriously help, because I don't mind. I love it. But and I told be there for LA or anyone else, but. Sometimes I'm oblivious to the fact that they need help, because I might just go, you know what? You are such a good dancer. Everyone loves you. Don't need my help.
My roommate Arshak was talking about this. He was saying that there should be some functional thing where tango dancers like wear a certain thing that let people know, like, oh, I love milonga tandas, or like, You know, just like there's like, you know, you wear something in common, so it's like
Yeah, like, oh my God, this just reminds me of Brazilian barbecue with the green and red. You know, your meat, no meat. Oh, dude. But also like, you know,
that would be helpful.
Yeah, it was-
you look and like, oh, they got the pin. That means they like pugliese, or I don't know.
oh my God, now it's gonna be like Office Space. How many points of flair do you have? You know, like you have all these pins.
Yeah.
I'm in everything.
Everything.
Like collect your pins. That would be fun. I would actually like to see that. Maybe that should be a thing. You know, like wear a whole bunch of ribbons or pins or something to kind of so people know what kind of person you are.
Oh, do you have to give away your pin to somebody?
That'd be interesting.
That actually could be interesting. Some thoughts there, some ideas.
Yep. Or the icebreaker, Tango Bingo.
Take me back to that again.
Yep.
Yeah, the pin will be. I've only seen the pin a couple times at a marathon. Everyone does the wrist bracelet thing.
Oh, but that was an admission pin.
Yeah. We're talking about an extracurricular pin.
Yeah, or a ribbon or whatever.
Ribbon, yeah.
That'd be interesting. But the thing is, it's got to be big enough for people to see. Because if it's a pin that's small,
No, but that's a game, right? It's like
oh, you have to go around like eyeball everyone's pins, and they got to remember which one they were. And then what if like you don't feel like that milonga tanda, but you have the milonga tanda one on there? You're like, are you obligated to it? I don't know, man. This is open up a can of worms.
I mean, if you're a milonga person, you're a milonga person, right? No matter what.
What?
Ride or die.
Right or die?
Yeah.
All right. You know, I mean, okay.
I mean, I used to be a ride or die milonga person until I went full slow motion milonga, and
yeah. I mean, I would like to say I'm a ride or die on a lot of things, but sometimes, especially the one thing that I realize is that I did not condition for this marathon. And there are times I'm like, oh my God, this is an amazing tanda, but my legs don't work.
you're out of marathon shape.
No, I'm out of it. Well, that and I was giving 100% all the time. Like I'm doing the whole like
Full out,
I'm gonna
don't
give
hold back.
Yeah, don't hold back. You know, just give everything to your partner, and it worked great. Except like I went home
Gassed out.
No, it wasn't that. Like I went home, my legs were so damaged. I had to put on TENS units on my muscle electronic stimulant on my legs and pump them out for like 2 hours just
Really?
I need the circulation in my legs just to like get my muscles working again. It was so bad. Yeah, I'm definitely not conditioned as I thought I would be. So next marathon, we got to go back to Seattle Tango Magic training. Just get in the gym, just like.
And the funny thing was that these weren't long milongas. They were only 4 hours. They were short milongas.
Yeah, but I was giving 100% to the ones I had, and
Okay,
back when I was thinking like I got 5 in me, I pushed it to like maybe like 8, and it was back to back, and then I was like, ugh, that was oh man, that was rough.
Okay.
But it was a good type of pain.
Are you in marathon shape?
Are you? That should be the next topic. Are you in marathon shape? Like, how to get in marathon shape? Haha, David Goggins.
Do a whole fitness routine.
That'd be hilarious. You
Uh,
don't know me, son.
oh my gosh. Well, yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in to our latest episode of Left Foot, Right Foot, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Left Foot, Right Foot. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to us and our latest content.
Yeah, it really goes a long way. We've come a long way so far, and we really appreciate everyone's support in helping us grow this channel and all supporting our lifelong path of really getting social dancing out there and allowing other people to find their way to Argentine Tango.